Welcome to Clarity. I'm Abe Casbo, and tonight we're pleased to welcome the mayor of Cedar Grove, Peter Tanella, and Mohammed Khairallah, who is the mayor of Prospect Park, New Jersey. And we're here to discuss how they guided their towns, their municipalities through the devastation of Hurricane Sandy, and how they use social media to communicate with their constituents. Gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about your initial experience with Sandy and how you thought you might use Facebook to communicate with your constituents.
I thought it would be a great way to reach the residents because we had no power. Our phone lines were down and we had no power. But through my smartphone, I was able to go on Facebook and post updates that I was getting from the town manager and the police chief on a regular basis, so we could share that information with the residents.
Mohammed?
Well, Abe, what you might not know about me is that I am a teacher, and I teach high school. So what do children now always have in their hand? It's their smartphone. They're always on Facebook. They're always on Twitter. That's how they communicate with each other. They almost don't even text anymore. That's considered old school. It's just either about Facebook or Twitter. So I thought, what is the best way for me to update the residents on what's going on other than Facebook? So obviously right away I started updating the residents as to what is going on around town, what is our plan. Obviously some people lost power, so we had to give them some guidance as what to do.
You were out in the car,
yes.
right? Because I was following you, and
right.
You were out as well. Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Right.
So you're Facebooking from the car and telling residents.
No, mainly what I wanted to do.
I wasn't suggesting that you were doing it while you were driving.
right. No, what I wanted to do the morning after that storm, I was out in the car by 8 o'clock. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to find out what was going on, and I wanted to be able to communicate to residents who weren't online. So I took a pad and I took a pen and I went and got in my car, started running into town and started to drive through the streets. And as I was driving through the streets, I was seeing our local police officers doing it as well, because our manager had them out there, throughout the storm, after the storm was over, just going through to get that information, so we can take that information that they were getting and give it to PSE&G, so we could tell them, or try to be proactive about it, to tell them where there was a down power line, where that tree had fallen down, with the hopes that we would get power turned on quicker in those residents.
All right, Mohammed?
Well, same thing. We wanted to assess the damage. What we did is we had the police go around town. As soon as the storm started, we hired a tree cutting crew. As soon as trees fell, we were cutting them up right away, putting them away. Our promise, obviously, was that we wanted the town to be clean when the storm was over. And the only thing that we left was whatever we couldn't touch because it was in the wires.
But you were posting photos of those trees being chopped down, of the things being mulched, or so you were posting those photos on Facebook.
Yes. I wanted the residents to know that we are out there, and that despite of the many difficulties that they are going through, we're working. And I wanted them to understand that we are doing everything within our means to make sure that the town is okay, so they get an understanding that the power is really not something that we could control. Right. So it's kind of like a subliminal message of saying, look, we are out there, we're working, so when it comes to the power, you're not getting it just because, not because we don't want to give it back to you, but because it's an external issue. It's PSE&G.
Right. We talked a little bit before about you giving out your personal phone number. I know your personal phone number is right on your Facebook. And you were both doing this on your personal Facebook pages. Has the time come for towns to aggregate this information and deliver information via Facebook and Twitter to its residents?
I think it's something that needs to be looked into, a real integrated approach with regard to a combination of social media, public announcements, mailers. There's got to be a real look at the integrated approach, and we've done that as a town, and we're looking at ourselves and saying, okay, how can we improve to communicate? Because during the storm, I think one of the key things was communication. How can we communicate better with the residents?
Yeah. Tell me about the responses that you received on Facebook from some of your constituents.
For the most part, they were positive. They were thankful. And obviously some of them actually gave us guidance as what we need to do. Some of them were suggesting, to go visit elderly. Some of them told us about problems that were happening. One of them actually gave us the address where a tree was about to fall. He noticed that it was cracking, it was about to fall, so he wrapped it up and notified us. So it doesn't. So we went there, we chopped it up, put it away, and so it was very helpful. It was a very positive communication.
When I put it on Facebook, I did the calls I started getting and how appreciative people were. Again, communication. Right. It was so simple, just a communication. If you're going to tell something, you're calling me and saying, when is my power going to get on? Well, I'm not sure. Let me find out. Where do you live?
Right.
And I couldn't even give them a definitive answer. Why? Because PSE&G doesn't even know.
Right. Still
to this day, we're talking, it's now, 4 weeks after the storm, 3 weeks after the storm, when the Senate committee hearings are going on, they don't know. They don't have the technology to actually tell you if your residence is out, they don't know it. Right. They can't. They need to build that infrastructure within PSE&G. So you had to kind of work within those confines. It was real. That's what was so frustrating in this day and age, to understand that you have residents who have no power, no telephone, that they're in the dark, and there's no way you can communicate with them. It was really frustrating.
But Mohammed, I just pulled up your Facebook, and I went to the timeline around the time of the storm. Mm-hmm. So it had just finished a tour around town. We have a punch list. Once we are done with it, it will be as if Sandy never came through. Correct. Stay positive, stay safe. 19 likes and 9 comments saying, thank you, keep us posted, whatever. We always talk about how government fails. I think this is an example of where government is working, right. Because you use the tools of the day. Right?
Right. My goal is to put the residents at ease. My instructions was to close the park because that's where most of the trees are, and I know there was going to be a lot of damage, so that was closed until we cleaned the town. But during the day of the storm, I had a tree cutting crew in town. We actually hired an outside crew, and as soon as a tree fell, we went there, chopped it up, and put it away.
And you took video of it, because there's video right here on Facebook.
That's a great point that the mayor brought up. The residents actually giving us information as well, and we were relying upon that. I was finding out if a particular neighborhood was without power or power was restored, because we were like an island. We weren't getting that information from PSE&G, so we had to do that ourselves, and it was great for us where I can get that information and share what our managers saying. Carlson Parkway just got power back on, or Anderson Parkway just lost power.
I think one of the lessons, certainly for me, is the idea of the network and bringing people into the relevant network. So your Prospect Park network needs to grow. Yes. Your Cedar Grove network needs to grow, and then the integrated lines of communication. And what PSE&G probably needs to do is figure out how to do the same to you guys, because you're their network.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being on the show. This was terrific. Hope to have you back on again.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time right here on Clarity.